I have been tracking a lot of the moves that Ripple has been making over the last couple months because, again, it feels as if almost every single thing that Ripple has done in 2025 is a strategic move. And it's not just a strategic move around Ripple or even their stablecoin RLUSD, but it's also a strategic move around XRP. In this video, I really want to go over a few things that just recently got announced from Ripple. And then I also want to go over how it all ties back to XRP. Let's start off with a recent post from Ripple, which did get posted on the 12th. And we have an honor to host Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister and also the Monetary Authority of Singapore's Managing Director at the Ripple booth to learn more about our business and customer traction in APAC during the 10th anniversary of Singapore FinTech Festival. Singapore continues to lead from the front with clear rules and regulations around digital assets, maintaining a strategic vision to build a trusted, connected, and digital asset economy. And of course, here are some images from the event. We love to see it. Obviously, Ripple did receive a license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore going back to, I want to say 2023. So they have definitely been a pretty big name around Singapore for quite some time, and the APAC region has always been a focus of theirs since going all the way back to like 2020 and even a little bit beforehand. So again, makes a lot of sense for them to be, hosting an event or even being a part of an event around Singapore, and then also, bringing in some of the largest players from Singapore, like the Deputy Prime Minister and even the Managing Director of the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Again, it kind of feels as if in some of these key areas around the world, Ripple is preparing to expand. Now, on top of that, we got another post from Monica Long, and this is actually from the 12th, same day. Great to welcome the UK's Economic Secretary to the Treasury at Ripple's Singapore office to discuss how digital assets can boost the UK's competitiveness and growth, building on its status as one of the leading financial hubs in the world. Over the last couple of days, it has come to my attention that we are now witnessing more and more users having money frozen on exchanges like MEXC. This is a big issue, and it's an issue that plagues the crypto space. It's at a time where these exchanges are not fully regulated. It's a big issue. This is why when I've always mentioned if you wanted to hold your crypto in custody, it could be cold storage. It doesn't matter where you are holding it. Never hold it on these exchanges. Now, I will say ITrustCapital does offer a premium custody account, which provides you institutional grade custody. This is a US-based company with live client service and support. And you can buy and sell crypto 24/7 on this platform, which is a closed loop system that is extremely secure with low fees. We could also see here that ITrustCapital does provide you with every single thing that you possibly need when you are buying, selling, or holding crypto on their platform. If you guys do want to sign up with a premium custody account today, you guys are more so welcome to do so through my link that is down in the description below. If you deposit $1,000, you get a $100 funding bonus on top of it. And with that being said, let's jump back on into the video. So now we have both Singapore and the UK being addressed here. Obviously, recently we did see another big post, and I think it was from Casey Craddock actually, where she was meeting with Scott Bessent and even major players from the UK. And this goes back to like the beginning of the month. Maybe it was even back in October, where there was a huge announcement actually of the UK and the US working together to bolster digital asset innovation between the two nations. And again, now we have Ripple right at the center point yet again, talking to the Economic Secretary to the Treasury from the UK on how digital assets can boost the UK's competitiveness and growth. Now, if we are going over to Ripple's website and we are looking at the open roles, and we have the UK here as well as Singapore. There is 21 job listings here. Most of these don't really pertain back to XRP or the XRPL, unless you were going all the way down here to Ripple X, because Ripple X is the XRP side of Ripple's. And there is 4 job applications here. Number 1, Director of Developer Relations, Partner Director, Senior Developer Relations, and then also Senior Ecosystem Growth Manager. All of these around the UK and Singapore. But again, it's showing us that they want to expand in some of these key areas. We also know that the UK has always been a focus of Ripple's forever, since going all the way back to, like, I want to say 2016, maybe even before that, where they had their POC with the Bank of England. And then also in Singapore in the APAC region, like I said, back in like 2020 is when they really started to kick things into overdrive. I feel like the lawsuit really accelerated Ripple pushing outside of the US into some key areas, and APAC was definitely in one of them. But also, talking about the US, there was another big event, and this got hosted from Official Contour. We have here from Brandon Lutnick. Last night, Official Contour brought together some of the most influential minds in digital assets and AI. 5 years ago, we made a commitment to a sector we believed in, crypto. Today, we stand at the center of that space. Achieving our goals takes more than insight and dedication. It takes execution. And that's where this firm truly stands apart. We execute. And of course, yes, on the left side there, you do see Brad Garlinghouse. There's a lot of great names that are listed at this event, as you guys can just see going through the images here. And I just feel as if we are at that point in time where specific players from the space are being handpicked to build something very special. You know, the new financial system, we've been talking about it forever now. I feel like a lot of people have kind of come to the conclusion that, oh, this is never going to happen, or, oh, it's not happening, it's going to take years. But if you really look at things and you kind of connect the dots on what's been happening in the last like 12 months, this is happening now. It's not happening later. It's not happening next year or 2 years from now. No, it's happening now, and it's only going to accelerate from this point on. We are witnessing the birth of the new financial system, and it's starting to accelerate faster than we ever thought possible. And of course, it's because of names like Ripple. I saw a great post from Anderson recently on X, and it was a graphic image of all of the companies that Ripple recently acquired because of the purchase of Palisade and their new wallet solution. Pretty amazing when you see the full picture of what they're building. This is next generation financial infrastructure, and it's a lot more than just cross-border transfers. They've recently acquired 5 different companies: Medico, Hidden Road, Rail, G Treasury, and Palisade. Ripple is becoming a juggernaut in the crypto space. And yeah, Anderson is 100% correct. When we look at this image, this does not just tell me, oh, hey, you know, Ripple's out acquiring some companies for key things. No, this tells me that Ripple is out acquiring companies to make sure that they have a full-on, all-in-one platform that can handle everything that an institutional player, an enterprise player, even a retail player needs in order to tap into this new system. This to me looks like core infrastructure. It almost looks like a full new system, and it all comes back to what Ripple has always wanted to build: the Internet of Value. Just looking at some of these names and looking at the list of customers and banks connected to some of them, like G Treasury, right? They have 800 customers, 13,000 connected banks, $12.5 trillion in annual payments volume. When you look at Palisade, yeah, it is just a wallet platform. However, it's also a core player in connecting to and integrating into existing systems. So you have that, connection already that can allow for on and off ramps, payments, and just seamless integration. Then you look at Rail, okay, a full-on stablecoin platform, which 100% allows for RLUSD to expand. But this is processing over 10% of stablecoin B2B payments market in 2025. They're a global platform as well, so a huge piece of the stablecoin boom. Then, of course, we have Ripple Custody, which was originally Medico. This is, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Institutional players will need a custody platform. They want to hold crypto assets, they want to hold stablecoins, they want to hold RWAs, they want to hold whatever they need to hold in a secure custody platform. And Ripple Custody is providing that. And last but not least, we do have, of course, Hidden Road, aka Ripple Prime. 300 institutional players with $3 trillion cleared to date. targeting some of the largest, industries out there. The FX market. We also have derivatives being targeted. I mean, institutional workflows, payments, things like that. All of this stuff is big money use cases. This is why I keep saying that everything that Ripple is doing is to build out a all-in-one platform that institutional players can flood into and tap into this new technology. And everyone will say, well, I don't see XRP at all, so XRP is useless, right? No. XRP is at the core. Brad Garlinghouse recently confirmed this at Ripple Swell. Here we have 2 video clips. This is the North Star one, and then we also have another one. This is from Riz XRP. Check this out.
Well, XRP, and I sometimes have to remind the world of this, but XRP is at the heart and soul of what Ripple is doing. We care deeply. We have called it our North Star. But at the end of the day, we want to do things that are good for the XRP ecosystem. We want to build trust in XRP. We want to build utility in XRP. And we want to build liquidity in XRP. And each of the acquisitions we do, in one way or another, we believe it will do those things. Now, it may not be, some people may look at it and be like, I don't really, scratch their head a little bit. Well, I promise you that we see in the 3-dimensional game of chess, we see how we believe that's going to evolve. Sometimes we'll probably do things that are more obvious and some less obvious. That's okay with us.
Right, there might be...
One of the advantages of being private is I don't always have to explain myself to public investors. Well, XRP
and then, of course, on top of that, we have this one, the bridge. Because again, we just have that clear confirmation from Brad Garlinghouse that XRP is their North Star. It's at the center point of everything that they do. They want to ensure that XRP is the most, the most secure and stable asset in terms of, a digital asset that institutional players can trust. I don't mean stable in terms of the value, but, XRP is a core piece of the infrastructure. And then also over here, we have the bridge. Check this one out.
Yeah. Very interesting time. Yeah.
But you've come such a long way in the last year. I mean, since sitting down with you at Swell in Miami, where we talked about all that stuff. I'm just going to rattle off some things that Ripple has done in the last year. So buckle up. You guys launched a stablecoin. You acquired a payments platform, a treasury software provider, 2 custody platforms, and a prime broker, applied for a national bank charter and a Fed master account. Does this mean Ripple ultimately wants to become a full-service financial institution? And if not, what's the long-term vision for Ripple now?
It's a good question. I mean, look, it is, as we said, profound how much has changed. Ripple has, I think, in a happy way, always focused on a particular segment, and that is really on the infrastructure side. Mm-hmm. There are temptations that we have had along the way of entering other segments, some interesting consumer applications that I've found interesting. And frankly, look, the exchanges have done well. Coinbase has done well, Kraken's done well, Binance has done well. We have resisted the temptation to kind of move into some of those segments to stay very much in the blockchain infrastructure for businesses, for financial institutions. I will say, there's a whole bunch of things we've done that I'm very excited about, but I think, again, people underappreciate how consequential acquisitions like Hidden Road, which is now Ripple Prime. Yeah, these guys cleared $3 trillion of transactions last year. And when you think about how, where some in crypto, I think, are looking at, I'm going to buy other crypto companies. If you look at Ripple's behavior, we're actually saying, well, we want to be the bridge between traditional finance and the decentralized finance world. So we're the decentralized finance piece. We're going to acquire things that are traditional finance. Hidden Road was kind of 80% non-crypto related. G Treasury is 100% non-crypto related, processing trillions of dollars of payment transactions. And so the opportunity to bring over 1,000 corporate treasurer offices, managing truly hundreds of billions of dollars of, dormant cash, and thinking about how you apply that with stable coins. I think I'm incredibly excited by, where we have found ourselves in that journey. And I think, next year, I will say, I think we'll be much less acquisitive. We've been busy this year on the M&A front. And I think it's kind of like, okay, we got some work to do to integrate and to demonstrate the strategy that we see as I just kind of articulated. And okay, let's weave these pieces together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, listen, everything that Ripple is doing here, I feel like a lot of people, like obviously, a lot of us that are in the ecosystem around XRP, we are aware of what's happening here. I don't think that you guys need me to break it down, because obviously a lot of you out there have been realizing what's happening here. You guys have been watching the moves happen over the last couple years, and you don't need some, guy on YouTube saying, "Hey guys, hold my hand, let me walk you through everything." No, a lot of you understand what's going on because you are also a part of this space on a day-to-day basis. And just looking at the moves that Ripple has been making, looking at, how things have changed around this space in the last year as well. I know that it's easy to look at price action and just look at how the market has been performing and say, well, oh, the market sucks. Yeah, that might be true. However, look at everything else happening around crypto. We are witnessing a complete sea change here. A sea change that benefits both Ripple and XRP. That's why when we look at all of the solutions that Ripple is offering, it all makes sense. Especially when you look at all of the acquisitions and the fact that we are seeing confirmation from Ripple themselves saying, hey, guess what? No, XRP is a core piece of our system. We are 100% locked in on XRP. And it's because of the benefits of tapping into the XRP ledger. You got to remember that since the inception of the XRP ledger, it was built for tokenization. It was built for DeFi. It was built for payments. We just didn't have everything that the ledger needed in order for it to go after and have these use cases blossom on it until recently. And now it's a completely different view, from going back to 2021 to now when it comes back to the XRP ledger and even XRP. So I'm very excited about what's going to happen, going forward, but it feels as if we are in a very interesting spot here for both Ripple and XRP. Utility-based assets are they should be at least the 100% focus at this point, and it feels as though Ripple is planning on making some pretty big moves around the world as well, utilizing their infrastructure and of course utilizing XRP. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.